I'm now joined by Craig Delaney, Manager of the Veterans Employment Program and a veteran himself. Craig's team supports the work of the Office for Veterans Affairs at DCJ, who support veterans and their families across New South Wales. He's here to tell us more about the work which the Office for Veteran Affairs does, supporting veterans and their families across New South Wales. Hi Craig, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.
Thanks for having me, it's an absolute pleasure.
Just before we begin, I was hoping you could just tell us a little bit about your career journey and how you got into this role.
Thanks very much for the opportunity. I did 30 years in the Australian Defence Force. I served on operations, I led teams of 1,000 people, I worked at the White House, I worked at the Pentagon. I'd done a lot of really cool stuff through Defence, and then I saw the role advertised for the Veterans Employment Program, and I knew I had lived experience and I could help other veterans. So I applied for the job, and that's where I sit today, so thank you.
That's amazing, thank you so much. We're very lucky to have you, I think. So as the manager of the Veterans Employment Program, can you tell us a bit more about the program and what its goals are?
So the program began back in 2016 as part of the centenary of Anzac. And New South Wales Government set a figure to say we will hire 200 veterans into meaningful ongoing employment during the centenary. They actually got 831 during that period. It was amazing. I joined at the end of that period and I said, if we got 831 during the centenary, over the next 4 years, let's get 1,000. I made the best mistake of my life. We got 1,626. So it was fantastic. And so then at the end of that period, I said, right, let's roll the program out for another 4 years through the ministers and all that sort of stuff in our office. But I said, let's get a realistic target. Let's get 2,000 veterans over the next 4 years. Currently, we've only got 1,274, but we're just ahead of our target of 1,250, which is the interim target, so we're ahead of it. But I deliberately made a figure like that, so people had to be involved. The minister just couldn't go out and say we're hiring veterans. He's actually involved. He sits at our policy meetings and he helps us discuss stuff. So he's got skin in the game. It's just fantastic. So that's where we went from there. And then I also realised that Megan Banton, who works with me in the project, she's a veteran herself of 15 years service. And she's also married to a current serving member. But two people could not influence 430,000 people across the New South Wales Government. So what we've done is we're developing a champions network of veterans, veterans' family members, veterans' friends, people that understand the skills and attributes that veterans have to try and market that through government. So now I've got a champions network, and in a defence term you call it a force multiplier. We've now got 580 champions throughout government, and if anyone out there wants to become a champion, please reach out to me because you can help make a difference with veterans' lives. But the whole program is about people understanding the skills and attributes of veterans rather than putting their applications in the too hard basket, to actually take it that step further and think, well, maybe I can actually work something out with this application. A veteran served our country. I'll give Craig Delaney a call and just ask him about the CV. And that's the sort of thing to create awareness and hopefully get veterans employed. But at the same time, to tell veterans that they need to civilianise their applications so people understand it.
That's really interesting. So, I guess following on from that, what are the different roles that veterans are taking on?
So, my answer to anyone that doesn't really understand what Defence does is Defence has bases in Townsville, Darwin and Brisbane. And that's a brigade. A brigade consists of Army, Navy and Air Force, and that can deploy anywhere in the world if required. But part of their training, they go from the barracks environment out to a greenfield site. They'll set up in the bush. They will set up track plans, which are roads. They'll set up communications facilities, hospital facilities, policing facilities. They've got HR reps, they've got diversity reps. Of course, they've got warfighting capability. But if you remove the uniform from a veteran, you've got every job within New South Wales Government that people can do as veterans. They've got electricians, they've got mechanics. All the roles that we're looking at are in defence. It's just up to the veteran to be able to tell in civilian terms what they've done in defence. And a lot of the time we sit back and we sort of think, well, I'm explaining to you what I've done, but the thing is I'm not explaining it well enough for you to understand. I've got to make sure that I connect with the person to explain exactly what I did.
Yeah, so I guess following on from that, what sort of work does your team do to support veterans through that application process, sort of, getting their CVs ready for the transition to the public sector employment?
So we've got a website, and that's got tools on the website for veterans to understand. The most simplest one of the lot is, well, it's a fantastic tool, what we call the Rank to Grade Guide. But veterans need to understand it as a guide only. You can go on that, you can put your service in Army, Navy, Air Force, you can then put your rank in, and it will equate across to where you should fall within New South Wales Government. It links to the I Work for New South Wales platform, and it makes available every job that is currently available on the platform at that level. So that's one tool that we've got. And veterans need to understand that if they're a reserve soldier, sailor or aviator, and they're working at the lowest rank there, but they're a CEO of a company, they need to realise to adjust that ranking level to represent their CEO skills and their veteran skills. The other tool that we've got there is the capability definition tool that was also taken up by the PSC to understand what is available out there. Everyone knows out there that applies for government roles, you must apply against the New South Wales Capability Framework. So against those focus capabilities, you've got to write your application. So my name's Craig Delaney against the New South Wales Capability Framework. I meet or exceed the focus capabilities. But then when you get down to the focus capabilities, you give an example. I can tell you how I've helped a colleague under pressure using the key verbs and adjectives of the behavioural indicators. But the bonus of using the capability definition tool is that there's example questions there. It's all put together by the Public Service Commission. So if you go onto our website, look at the stuff. If you're a civilian, just don't tick the box to say you're a veteran. But that's why the Public Service Commission has used it on their website to say, hey, you can use this tool, and it gives them the questions to write their application from the beginning. So then we've got fact sheets on the website, how to apply for roles, because most veterans, the average time served in defence these days is 6 to 8 years. So if a veteran serves 6 to 8 years in defence, but they may not have ever applied for a civilian job outside of that. So they don't understand what a selection panel is. They don't understand the whole process of what it goes about. So we put tips and tricks down there for interview techniques. We put tips and tricks down for writing their cover letters and CVs. It's just amazing stuff.
That's brilliant, yeah.
We go to all the transition seminars for Defence. The Australian Defence Force has transition seminars for members and their families to support the family, because the family gives up so much while the veteran's serving that really they need to be supported as well. So we support families as well through the New South Wales Government Ranks to Recognition program, which is put together by TAFE New South Wales, and that provides a wraparound service, so to speak, where veterans can go in there with all their skills and attributes, work out what vocation they should do, and then apply for courses. It can be either fee-free or heavily subsidised, and they will also provide that service to family, to the wife or partner, and that is fantastic. They don't get fee-free, but they will get a subsidised TAFE courses as well.
This is amazing, Craig. I've learnt so much today, and I'm sure everyone who's joining us online has as well. Thank you so much for coming along and sharing everything. You've got such an interesting story, and we really appreciate you giving your time to us today.
It's my pleasure coming along. Thank you very much.
Thank you.